Right now, you are probably listening to this on a device that, you'll later use to watch a movie completely alone.
Yeah, totally alone.
Right. So, welcome to this deep dive. Our mission today is to unpack the history of the movie industry and really figure out how technological leaps didn't just upgrade our cameras, but literally rewired how human beings tell stories to each other.
Because it really is a wild loop to trace, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we just assume cinema was born in a crowded theater, but if you look at Edison's kinetoscope back in 1891, you had to physically lean over and look into this tiny peephole all by yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's mechanically the 19th century version of doom scrolling in the dark.
That is exactly what it was.
But then, the Lumiere brothers come along a few years later in 1895. And they figure out how to project film onto a wall, which basically invented the modern watch party.
Right, but even then, the content was just novelties, right? Like a train pulling into a station. What's really fascinating here is how the severe limitations of early film forced this massive cognitive leap in storytelling.
Because they had no synchronized sound yet.
Exactly. They couldn't just, record a stage play. They had to engineer an entirely new way for the human brain to process visual information. Out of pure necessity, they invented modern visual language using editing, lighting, pacing.
Oh, wow. And mastering that visual language created these massive megastars, so globally recognized that, like, by 1919, you have Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford forming United Artists.
Yeah, and that was just to wrestle creative control away from those factory-like studio producers.
Yeah.
That tension between creators and the industrial machine really defines the golden age.
Right.
For decades, the big studios operated a perfect closed loop. I mean, they owned the production, the distribution, and the actual physical theaters.
Just an incredibly lucrative legal monopoly.
Yep, a total monopoly.
Until, it suddenly wasn't. The Supreme Court totally shatters that theater monopoly with the 1948 Paramount Decree, right as television is invading every living room in America.
And completely stealing the audience.
Exactly. Wait, so I am genuinely confused here. If studios just lost their guaranteed theater revenue and their monopoly, shouldn't they have played it safe? I mean, did the Supreme Court in television accidentally force Hollywood to invent the summer blockbuster just to survive?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, survival meant creating a spectacle you simply could not get in your living room. The whole mechanism of the business fundamentally changed.
Oh, I see.
They weren't just selling a 2-hour diversion anymore. They had to sell a cultural event.
Like Jaws in 1975.
Exactly, like Jaws. With a heavy marketing blitz and all that merchandise, they generated this cultural FOMO that TV just couldn't replicate. The massive financial risk was exactly the point.
And that spectacle model just kept escalating. Yeah. Especially when VHS and DVD sales created this huge secondary revenue stream that helped fund the digital revolution. Suddenly, you get fully realized, impossible CGI worlds. But ironically, the data revolution totally flips the script entirely, doesn't it?
It does, because that very same digital infrastructure that gave us CGI worlds also allowed tech companies to bypass theaters entirely.
Right.
When streaming platforms began dropping entire throw-ins of television at once, think about House of Cards in 2013. It wasn't just a new distribution method, it was a totally new psychological model for the audience.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. The studios basically traded the opening weekend sprint for a subscription retention marathon.
That is a great way to put it.
But how does that actually change the storytelling itself?
Well, think about the underlying mechanics of it. An opening weekend model requires this massive, satisfying climax to generate positive word of mouth, right?
Sure, yeah.
But a subscription model relies on algorithmic targeting and constant, unresolved cliffhangers to stop you from clicking away. The goal isn't necessarily a satisfying conclusion.
It's just to get you to hit the watch next episode button.
Exactly. The technology of the delivery system is directly dictating the pacing of the narrative you consume.
Which totally changes what gets greenlit in the first place.
It really does. And understanding this cycle of disruption helps you decode exactly why platforms push the specific content currently sitting on your homepage.
Yeah.
It is never just about the story, it is always about the delivery system.
Always. And right now, high-end digital cameras have completely democratized that system. You no longer need a massive studio lot to shoot a gorgeous film.
Right.
So I will leave you with this to ponder. If we've gone from the communal theater back to staring at our own solitary screens, will the next golden age of cinema even happen in Hollywood? Or will it be entirely decentralized, bubbling up from creators completely outside the system?
That is the big question.
Definitely something to think about next time you're scrolling. There used to be this real magic to the movie ticket. I mean, you'd buy a little stub of paper, walk into a dark room with 100 strangers, and just surrender to the exact same dream.
Yeah, that collective experience. But looking at the 2026 film industry landscape, I mean, that ticket feels like an ancient artifact now.
Completely. And that's exactly what we're unpacking in today's deep dive for you. We've actually pulled a bunch of box office analytics, some Apple Tech white papers, and the latest SAG-AFTRA contract drafts.
Right, to basically decode this mission we're on today, which is mapping the death of the one-size-fits-all blockbuster. We're seeing the birth of this entirely bifurcated ecosystem now.
High-stakes spectacle in theaters versus, hyper-personalized content right in your living room.
Exactly. And the data highlights a really stark split. Like, right now, 46% of audiences are just choosing to stream at home.
Wow, almost half.
Yeah, and the theatrical window has just collapsed to 40 days. So if a release is an absolutely essential viewing, you just wait 5 weeks.
Right, which means to survive, theaters are basically transforming into luxury events.
Right.
They're leaning so heavily into IMAX and Dolby Atmos and 4D effects.
They have to. It's essentially a theme park ride at this point.
That is the perfect analogy. You're basically paying for the G-force now.
Right. They aren't just selling the story anymore, they're selling the friction. You pay $30 to be locked in a room where you literally can't pause or text.
Or change the ending. Meanwhile, all the mid-budget movies, so the dramas and the rom-coms, they just completely relocated to your couch.
They did. And algorithms are aggressively slicing those home audiences into these wild micro-genres.
Right, like you don't just stream a general sci-fi movie anymore.
No, you stream a post-apocalyptic culinary drama. Because the data identifies this highly engaged niche community that is hungry for exactly that specific thing.
That is so wild. But because that at-home viewing experience has become so hyper-personalized, the tech is now transforming how you actually interact with the story.
Totally. The whole viewing contract is shifting from passive observation to active participation. Take spatial cinema, for example.
Oh man, the headsets.
Yeah, because headsets like the Apple Vision Pro map your living room in 3D, the hardware doesn't just put up a flat image. It renders the film's environment right over your actual furniture in real time.
So you can physically walk around a character while the scene is playing out.
Exactly.
Which brings us to the generative endings layered on top of that. You prompt the film's engine to deliver the finale you want.
Like a happy ending or maybe a gritty noir resolution?
Right. But I mean, it feels less like directing a static movie and more like coding a video game engine. The director builds the physics of the world, but you drive the car.
Which turns you into a co-creator, essentially.
Right. But I struggle with this a bit. I mean, trading authorial intent for ultimate user agency, does that just destroy the director's original vision entirely?
Well, it fundamentally redefines what a film even is. You are no longer watching a completed piece of art. You're navigating a narrative sandbox.
But building that sandbox has to be a massive logistical nightmare.
Oh, absolutely.
Because if spatial video and generative endings put the viewer at the center of the universe, you'd have to shoot an actor from every conceivable angle for 1 million different outcomes.
Right, which you simply cannot do with a traditional physical shoot.
And that exact limitation is what's driving this rapid shift from human actors to digital twins.
Yeah, major actors are literally scanning themselves to create high-fidelity digital assets, so they can simultaneously star in multiple films or effortlessly deliver performances in languages they don't even speak.
And it enables legacy licensing, too. I mean, look at the AI-resurrected James Dean starring in Back to Eden.
Right. They train the AI on his past performances to map out his microexpressions and then just generate entirely new ones.
And they're filming this stuff on the volume, too. Those massive LED walls completely replaced green screen. So live actors interact with digital elements and legacy actors in real time.
Yeah, making the lighting and eye lines look totally flawless.
But bringing back James Dean still relies on a real historical human. We also looked at the data on fully synthetic actors, like Tilly Norwood.
Right, the purely AI ones.
Exactly. Indie directors are just synthesizing their own bespoke leading ladies from scratch.
It's fascinating because both realities are operating at once right now. You have SAG-AFTRA, who just established strict guardrails in their latest contracts to protect human actors and their likenesses from unauthorized digital replication.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. But simultaneously, indie filmmakers are utilizing those entirely human-free casts to bring massive visions to life without needing to hire a single real person.
Drastically undercutting traditional budget constraints.
Exactly, the landscape is split.
So bringing this all together, the movie industry of 2026 demand that you are no longer just sitting there eating popcorn in the dark.
Definitely not. The static film reel is dead. The future is fluid, generated, and just hyper-targeted.
Right. You are an active participant, engaging with a hybrid cast of real humans and digital twins, inside an ecosystem built specifically around your own viewing habits.
It's a whole new world.
Which leaves you with this thought to mull over, really. If generative AI eventually gets so good that it creates fully synthetic indie actors perfectly tailored to your unique psychological preferences, do we lose our shared cultural touchstone entirely?
That is the big question.
Yeah. When every movie is customized just for you, will we ever have another universe